Yo, what's poppin', y'all? It's brother Frona back at it with another Nikke video, and man, oh man, do we have a bunch of new news regarding a bunch of the upcoming events for the game. Obviously, the big thing that everyone's excited for being the third anniversary. Obviously, some of the things that we've been expecting to receive around this time being the new free skin for Rappi from the popularity poll, but also just some other things that some people may or may not have been expecting coming to the game. But honestly, there's actually so much new stuff when it comes to news regarding the game that I'm honestly gonna have to separate this content into multiple different videos because, I mean, y'all know me, I like to keep my videos somewhat under like the 20-minute mark or so. And with all the new news we've gotten recently, I just feel like they each deserve their own dedicated video because, I mean, the stuff that we have coming up is just that good. I mean, you can just already take a look right here, the amount of stuff that we've been getting over the past week. But anyways, speaking of the third anniversary, that'll be the first thing we're talking about in this video. That, of course, being the recent information we have for the third anniversary live stream. We now have not only this official image for the third anniversary itself, which, I mean, looks extremely good before we even get on to all the amount of Easter eggs they've hid into here. We officially have a date for when the actual live stream will take place. As you can see, one of the first things that they tried hiding up in the top corner here being October 25th, and they even actually confirm it more in depth in the second image I have on this tab right here. But again, like I said, absolutely gorgeous art. We of course have the counter squad, we have the commander in the middle, and of course one of the main things that everyone's been already speculating and talking about with this image in general is the fact that it is a reference to the famous Last Supper painting that of course is a major painting in the Christianity religion. But with that being said, we of course have, the counter squad. We got Marianne, we got Cinderella, we got Crown, we got the Pioneers, and Doro of course. And now getting into a little bit of the Easter eggs that are interesting to note in this image. First and foremost, the one that I already saw off the bat the second that I saw this image when it was originally posted is of course the fact that there are statues of the four beasts scattered in the background. Of course, we got Behemoth here. We have Z's here and Leviathan over here in the far right, which means over here on the far left next to Behemoth is of course the fourth beast that we have not met yet, Bahamut. So interesting enough, this is going to be basically our first introduction to what the character can be expected to look like. Obviously, we don't really get anything in terms of color palette or major design aspects of her because they're of course statues, but again, obviously we expect them to be a major focus in the third anniversary itself because we have been spending this past year diving into their arc, their storylines, and all that good stuff. Now, some other things, of course, to take note of is actually this headless statue in the middle holding a lily flower. A lot of people have been speculating that this has some reference to do with Lily-wise, which, I mean, if we're going off those two detail points alone, I could definitely see it, but the fact that she's also holding Nayuta's staff, I feel like it's supposed to be more in line with Nayuta than Lily-wise. But again, this is shit up we're talking about. Nothing they do in terms of Easter eggs or story-related content is by coincidence, so I feel like the fact that they chose to include this lily flower in this image could mean that Nayuta has some potential information regarding Lily-wise that we don't know yet, either, a direct connection or most likely, at least what I think, probably has information regarding where the location of her actual body is, since we obviously know that's a major component when it comes to taking down any potential queen threats. Obviously, as we know with Nihilister explaining as much. And of course some other things that are, just interesting to take note of. Not really Easter eggs, but obviously having the big three manufacturers branding all over the place. You got some Elysian and Tetra soda bottles. You have some missileless flags on the turkey. You got some cute little pictures of the gang here with Denise, Neon, and Marianne. You have Rappi on this side. You got Doro. I'm actually so glad that they or Shift Up in general just included Doro as like an official meme for the game. Because ever since that meme got made, it just took the world by storm. Of course, some more counters imagery right here, and just some more branding and whatnot. But now, having said that, the next image I want to show regarding the 3rd anniversary, and of course last thing I want to say at least, is the fact that they have some Eden banners in the back, because of course, we are going to get the Eden Spear side story coming up very soon in this next update, so it makes sense that we're of course bringing the focus also to Eden as well as with all these other characters, of course. But the second image is actually, the direct confirmation of when the live stream will be actually taking place, October 25th at 1900 hour UTC 9. So obviously you're gonna have to translate that to whatever your time zone is. But typically for me, when it comes to these live streams, actually I haven't done the conversion myself, but just based off prior history, all the live streams have been taking place at a really unfortunate time for my time zone. I am in the PST time zone, so usually these live streams are around like 3 o'clock in the morning for me, if not a little bit later, because they usually have like some downtime before they actually start the live stream to get people in and whatnot. So it is gonna suck. Obviously, I'm not gonna really be able to live stream during this time, or even really record just my live reactions to the live stream while it's going, because if it's in the morning, then I obviously don't want to wake up my family and whatnot. But who knows? Maybe I'll see if I can try to at least get a recording going. Probably not a live stream, because I'm not sure when I want to actually start doing streaming content on the channel. But if I do, then obviously expect a lot of whispered screams, because that's really all I can do when it comes to that. But of course, we have our usual 2 hosts with Anise and Shifty. But interestingly enough, another thing that is pretty exciting to see for this live stream coming up is the fact that we have a new pair of hosts. As you guys can see in the background behind the two, we have 2 new hosts that will be joining as well for the live stream. Now, when it comes to speculation on who these hosts might be, I feel like the easiest answer would be obviously the characters that will be featured for the actual 3rd anniversary itself. Because, I mean, realistically, how many other people would they have to choose from that would make it be a worthwhile surprise? Like, I wouldn't expect it to be Roppy or Neon, because that's not much of a surprise. It could be 2 of the 4 beasts. It could be Leviathan and Behemoth, since they are obviously going to play a major role in the 3rd Annie. But I do think it would be the actual 3rd Annie units that will be co-hosts, because at least when it came to the last live stream we had, which was the summer live stream, we did see Eleg and Doro join in for the live stream itself. Even though they weren't actual co-hosts, they did actually join in just to have their moments and whatnot of hype and all that good stuff. But yeah, at least that's my guess. I would assume it to be the actual units for the 3rd anniversary. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. And of course, we have our GOAT, the commander, sitting pretty in the back on his throne. But yeah, October 25th, 1900, it will be available on the official Nikke account. And now another thing that I haven't pulled up because I didn't really want to showcase it, because it's basically going to have to be just a really trash rough translation or auto translation. But they recently had a Japanese interview with the director of the game, as well as another one of the major figureheads. I can't remember if he was the one in charge of the Rapture designs or the storytelling. I'm pretty sure it was the one in charge of the storytelling. But they had a whole interview. Obviously the interviewer asked them questions and all that good stuff. But one of the things I wanted to point out about that interview, as well as another thing I saw, or another article I saw, was that supposedly the anniversary celebration live stream is going to be conducted in 2 parts. I don't know. I think they actually showcased as much that it's going to be 2 parts on the JP side of things. But I don't know if that's 2-part situation is going to be just for JP or also for Global's live stream, because usually they handle their live streams differently, because obviously JP has the ability to have an in-person kind of showing with actual human host and all that. But I like to think we'll probably get that same treatment, because I mean, if they're going to do it in 2 parts, unless that second part is just completely dedicated to just JP related stuff, since again they do have an in-person showing, then I'd be very curious to see what those 2 parts actually break up into, because that means we'll get a really long live stream. Usually they go for like hour, hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes long. But I mean, if we're getting 2 parts, that's gonna easily push into like close to probably 3 hours, I'd assume. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it for this video. Again, I want to just keep this one mainly focused on just the live stream updates. I've not mentioned this yet on the channel, I think, but from the 27th of October to the 6th of November, I will actually be taking a trip for the very first time out of the country to the beautiful country of Japan. So I'm actually very excited to see just any and all Nikke related content that I see out there. Obviously, when it comes to making videos, I have to see what I plan to do for that. But I mean, the 3rd anniversary, I mean, come on, y'all. I can't miss out on the 3rd anniversary for that long without putting out some type of video, either for just doing summons or, you know, any new content, because I assume we might end up seeing, you know, the surface content released during that time if they don't push it back any further. But I mean, there's no way I can't get out something during that time, because it's going to be hype. I'm going to be excited. And of course, whoever the 2 units end up being for the anniversary, I definitely want to get them both. You know, potentially MLB. I mean, we'll see. Y'all seen, you know, the amount of stash I have in the game. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Expect some more videos for the Nikke news coming up very, very soon. I am going to try to squeeze out all these recordings as quick as possible. But again, 3rd anniversary live stream. Very excited. Very hyped to see what they have in store for the community base. Because again, we've been through quite the rough year. I'm not going to really sugarcoat it too much, but obviously a lot of the good faith in players has kind of dwindled over time, especially with all the, you know, just different controversies and dramas that we had, some warranted, some not. But when it comes to Shift Up, I always have faith in them that they, you know, seem to pull things back when it comes to the biggest events of the year. They seem to make it worthwhile for the players and give the community either what they're asking for or just make it an enjoyable and memorable experience in general. So I am very hyped. I do want to see what they end up pulling, you know, all the stops for. Obviously, we had a huge second Annie, so I expect even more to be coming to the players, especially with this new era that we've been in of having so many limited and 1% banners just come out through the year. I would like to see Shift Up, you know, make it worthwhile for the community in terms of just generosity and currency and all that good stuff, but of course we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, because I'm gonna be covering as much Nikke content as I can. It's your brother Frona. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace out, y'all.